Hello and welcome to Miniature Adventures. I'm Big Lee and this week I want to talk about the optimistic minds of tabletop wargamers. So this week's topic is something that I've been pondering for a while. Indeed, I've been secretly testing my theory in conversations with gamers online at shows like Partisan and amongst my own peer group. So this week I want to ask, does being a wargamer make us natural optimists when faced with all sorts of challenges on and off the games table? And judging from the conversations I've had with other wargamers, I think we are a solution orientated body of people, specifically because of our hobby. So as anyone on the inside will know, tabletop wargaming is not merely a pastime but a lifestyle choice requiring patience and commitment. In particular, historical wargaming is a hobby that immerses participants in detail, demanding critical thinking and strategic planning and real-time problem solving. Players must navigate through historical challenges, understand the capabilities of different units, anticipate opponents' moves. And this necessitates a blend of analytical skills, creativity, and the ability to remain calm and clear under pressure. The challenges presented by wargaming are manifold, and players must manage resources, devise strategies, and adapt to the evolving dynamics of the game on the table. And all of these skills are honed over time to become more important abilities even after we've walked away from the games table. But crucially, I believe that to succeed, players must believe in their capacity to overcome obstacles, which I think often translates into a generally optimistic outlook on life. Optimism is characterised by the expectation that all outcomes will generally be favourable and that one's efforts can positively influence results. Well, you only have to think about the wealth of superstitions and behaviours associated with dice rolling to know that thinking positively is vital in making those little plastic randomisers produce the result we want. In wargaming, mindset is crucial. Now, a player who approaches the game with pessimism may well struggle to formulate effective strategies or adapt to unexpected changes, and definitely won't influence the outcome of the dice, thereby reducing their chances of success. Now, optimistic gamers are more likely to persist through difficulties, viewing setbacks as temporary and surmountable. They won't give up. This resilience is reflected in wargaming, where players constantly adjust their tactics and recover from losses. The nature of wargames, where each playthrough offers new lessons and opportunity for improvement, just reinforces that optimistic perspective. Players learn to see failures as learning experiences rather than definitive endpoints. We may not always be aware of this behaviour, but it is recognisable in most of the wargamers I know and have played against over the years. And this leads me to the second half of my topic. Does wargaming change the way our brains are wired to handle success and failure? Well, there have been studies that show that engaging in tabletop wargaming can significantly influence cognitive processes. The complex scenarios presented in wargames require players to engage in deep cognitive processing, enhanced critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Now, these activities stimulate the brain, fostering something called neural plasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganise itself by forming new neural connections. While a lifetime of wargaming rewires our brains, we're also training ourselves to develop improved decision-making abilities. I know it may not feel like that when you look at your unpainted lead manning, but trust me, you are better at making decisions than if you were not a wargamer. Now, this is basically because players must assess in-game situations, weigh potential actions, foresee consequences, and often under time constraints, all of which mirrors real-life decision-making scenarios, suggesting that the cognitive skills honed through wargaming can transfer to other areas of life. At least that's what I keep telling my boss. Enhanced cognitive function in turn can contribute to a more optimistic outlook, and when individuals feel confident in their ability to think critically and solve problems, they're more likely to approach challenges with a positive mindset. Now, beyond the cognitive benefits, wargaming can have profound effects on emotional well-being as well as problem-solving skills. Engaging in a hobby that one finds enjoyable and stimulating can reduce stress and provide a sense of fulfilment. The social aspect, interacting with fellow gamers, forming strategies collaboratively and sharing a common interest, can also enhance emotional health. Social connections are crucial for mental well-being, providing support, reducing feelings of loneliness and fostering a sense of belonging. Research indicates that individuals with strong social networks are more resilient in the face of stress and adversity. The camaraderie found around within wargaming communities can thus be a significant source of emotional support. We've all seen it at one time or another. And the shared experiences and collective problem solving inherent in wargaming foster a supportive environment where optimism can thrive. Tabletop wargamers, particularly those engaged in historical wargaming, are more likely to be natural optimists when faced with challenges. The demands of the hobby foster critical thinking, problem solving skills and cognitive flexibility, all of which contribute to a positive outlook. The social interactions and emotional satisfaction derived from the hobby further enhanced well-being, making participants happier and more well adjusted. I'm sure there's always an example to the contrary, but nonetheless. So maybe it is true to say wargamers are not natural optimists because the phrase implies an innate ability, but rather have trained themselves to be optimists through the discipline of our incredible hobby. So as usual, I want to throw this out to you and ask, do you agree that our hobby makes us into optimists? Or do you think that we need to have an optimistic outlook to become a wargamer in the first place? As always, I would love to hear what you think in the comments below. So time for a quick hobby update. It's been a slightly quiet week on the hobby front, and it's not been a bad thing because it's given me time to get a few jobs done. Last weekend the rejects gathered in the Shed of War for a full final practice run through of our demo game for Broadside. Ray's made a few small changes to the rules based on our brief tester session during the previous week, and the game on Sunday ran a lot smoother as a result. The outcome felt more in line with history, and frankly it told a better story. Now, as I record this video before the weekend, I have no idea how the demo went yesterday, but I do intend to report back on it next week. Now, one of my jobs during the week was to finish the display material for our demo game. Ray had gathered a load of pieces of pictures of uniforms and artwork depicting the conflicts, and we wanted to have these to be seen by the public to help tell the story of the game. He had also put together a very comprehensive timeline of events in the game. We wanted that to be on the display for visitors to read if they so wished. Now, I've always made a big deal out of making an effort with a display to accompany any games that we put on. It's a great way to show the depth of work that's gone into the game and the miniatures, and it's also a good way to engage visitors and extend those naturally very brief interactions when they wander past and look at the table. So we usually would start by engaging visitors with a couple of sentences, just explaining what the battle is and its setting, and if the visitor's still standing there at the end of those couple of sentences, we might expand it a little bit further, extend the conversation, talk about the miniatures and the specific battle, and then we can move on and show them some of the display items that we might have to draw them further into the conversation. Now, I'm always desperate to engage with the audience but not bore them to death, and a good display is the best way to make that game interesting to as wide an audience as possible. Of course, it helps that the Broadside show is a really good one with an eclectic mix of visitors. It naturally attracts a lot of wargamers from across the Kent and South East region, but it also has a large proportion of non-wargamers wandering through the door. So we always look at this show as an excellent opportunity for a bit of hobby outreach, hopefully encouraging new players into the hobby and inspiring young gamers who have yet to try their hand at historical wargaming. So I want to finish off with a book review, and this week I wanted to review a recent purchase that has kept me interested and engaged from the very first page right to the last. The White Ship, Conquest, Anarchy and the Wrecking of Henry I's Dream by Charles Spencer is a captivating exploration of one of the most dramatic events in medieval history. Spencer is known for his engaging storytelling and meticulous research, and in this book he really brings to life the catastrophic sinking of the White Ship in 1120, a tragedy that altered the course of English history. Now Spencer doesn't start with the loss of the White Ship, instead providing a comprehensive background to the events leading up to the disaster. He introduces readers to the key figures of the time, including King Henry I and other prominent nobles, painting a vivid picture of the political and social landscape of early 12th century England and Normandy. This context is crucial for understanding the magnitude of the disaster and its far-reaching consequences. Now, the loss of the White Ship isn't covered in detail until nearly halfway through the book, but when he does reach it, his vivid description of the night of the 25th of November 1120 is all the more shocking. Spencer's ability to recreate the atmosphere of panic and chaos as the ship struck a submerged rock in the English Channel and rapidly sank is quite remarkable. He effortlessly transports readers to the cold, dark waters of the Channel, making them feel the fear and the desperation of those on board. And in so doing, he leaves the reader fully cognizant of the magnitude of the loss of the ship, and with the heir to the English throne on board. One of the book's strengths is Spencer's exploration of the political intrigue and dynastic struggles that characterised Henry I's reign. The White Ship disaster is not just a maritime tragedy, but a pivotal moment in the larger narrative of medieval power struggles. With the death of William Edelin, the heir, Henry I's only legitimate son, the stability of the English succession was thrown completely into turmoil. Spencer delves into Henry's efforts to secure his dynasty, including his controversial decision to name his daughter, Matilda, as his heir. This was a move that ultimately led to a prolonged period of civil war known as the Anarchy. Now, Spencer's portrayal of the key players in this drama is nuanced and well-rounded. He presents Henry I as a capable and determined ruler, but one whose dreams of a secure dynasty were shattered by the disaster. Matilda emerges as a formidable figure whose struggle for the throne against her cousin Stephen of Blois is a testament to her resilience and determination in a largely male-dominated world. The White Ship is not just a story of kings and queens, it's also a poignant human drama. Spencer dedicates significant attention to the personal stories of those who perished in the disaster. The young nobles on board, many of whom were friends and companions of William Edelin, were given life through Spencer's careful research and empathetic storytelling. The loss of an entire generation of the Anglo-Norman elite in a single night is rendered with a sense of pathos that underscores the human cost of political ambitions and dynastic conflict. The emotional impact of the tragedy is further highlighted by the account of the sole survivor, a butcher named Berold, who provides a harrowing eyewitness testimony to the disaster. His story serves as a stark reminder of the randomness of survival and the thin line between life and death. Spencer's meticulous research is evident throughout the book. He draws on a wide range of primary sources, including chronicles, letters, official records, to construct a detailed and accurate account of the White Ship disaster and its aftermath. His use of contemporary sources adds authenticity to the narrative, while his critical analysis ensures that readers are presented with a balanced view of the historical events. Despite the depth of research, The White Ship remains highly accessible and very easy to read. The pages literally whipped fast as I was trying to read the book. Spencer's writing is clear and engaging, making complex historical events understandable to a very broad audience. He avoids overwhelming readers with excessive details, instead focusing on the more significant aspects of the story. The inclusion of maps, family trees and a timeline helps readers navigate the intricate web of medieval politics and relationships. And The White Ship goes beyond recounting a historical event. It examines the broader implications of the disaster for English and European history. Spencer argues that convincingly that the sinking of the White Ship was a turning point that set the stage for the Anarchy, a period of civil war and instability that had profound effects on the development of the English monarchy and governance in future centuries. In The White Ship, Charles Spencer has crafted a masterful account of one of the medieval England's most dramatic and consequential events. His engaging narrative, meticulous research and empathetic portrayal of historical figures makes this book a standout work of historical non-fiction. By bringing to life the human drama and political intrigue surrounding the White Ship disaster, Spencer not only informs but also moves his readers. This book is a must-read for anyone interested in medieval history and the enduring impact of historical events on the course of nations. So that's it for this week. Please join in the conversation below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe and share. It really does help boost the channel. And if you want to keep up to date with weekly content from this channel, please tap the bell notification icon. So until next week, stay safe, keep gaming, and of course, keep rolling high.